Hey guys, Prof here, and today I'm going to get you a quick video unboxing of what could very well be the best keyboard. Best mechanical keyboard even. It was actually my second keyboard I ever bought, but I haven't had one in quite some time. Alright, so I did say unboxing, but it's probably going to be more of an unbagging since I got it in a padded envelope. I don't know how I feel about that, but hey, came from Amazon on a Saturday, so what can I complain? Looks like I need to get a new blade on my knife. Not the sharpest thing ever. Some of you may be surprised by this, and some of you may not. What we have here is the Happy Hacking Keyboard Professional 2. This was actually my second mechanical keyboard that I ever bought, and it took a lot of research back then to decide on it. My original keyboard was a SteelSeries 7G, and I loved it, and what happened is I used it for it was at least 4 years, ended up wearing through the keycaps, and then that's how I got into the custom keyboard community. Was I wanted to keep that board and maintain it, and back then it was tough to get keycaps. They were out there, but especially for a specific board like the 7G. And then that brought me into the whole not custom keyboard community, just in general, like mechanical keyboard community. And that's how I ended up with this Happy Hacking keyboard. Well, not this specific one, but a Happy Hacking Keyboard Professional 2. Alright, so it's been a long time since I've actually, let's move, for those interested, the new Logitech Wireless G Pro did come in. We're just using the webcam today. It's decently bright out, and like I said, just a quick video for you. So in here, before this, I should read some of the stuff on the box. So very Japanese packaging. This comes from PFU in Japan. For those of you who don't know about what the Happy Hacking keyboard is it's one of the first, I think. There might be some other ones, but it's a 60% compact mechanical keyboard. It uses the Topre key switches, and it's manufactured by PFU. It's actually based on a Sun keyboard layout. The thing I'm looking for, though, is here. Let me read. It's right here. Alright, you can kind of see that, but I will read this to you. Much better operational performance by electric capacity non-connection system. So it's a capacitive key switch. Much better operational performance, no chattering over 30 million times. They're saying 30 million click performance. And the best thing about your Topre, good feeling of oneness with cup rubber. For those of you who might have been around the Geekhack/Desk Authority scene, that was I guess you would call a meme nowadays. I'm trying to remember if they were actually memes back then, or if they were called memes. But good feeling of oneness with cup rubber, and that's how you know you get yourself a Topre board. Now, what brought this on was I was thinking I've got my GH60 on my desk right now that you can't really see, which is probably good. But I really wanted the feeling of the Topre, and I don't own a Topre keyboard. Prior to making all these custom keyboards, my entire collection was pretty much Topre, and I really wanted the plunky, there's a definite feeling of what a Topre switch feels like, especially in a Happy Hacking keyboard. So you got all the Japanese manuals. Not too much usefulness here. The one chart I need is right here. And luckily that's somewhat in English. It tells me what the dip switches do. And pop this open. You got your super generic mini B cable. I would actually recommend buying a right angled one for this. A lot of people do buy the coiled ones since they're much shorter, and it's a very highly portable keyboard. So having a coiled cable, you can kind of get more uses out of it. Like you can stretch it if you need to, but otherwise, if it's really close to your laptop or something like that, it doesn't have to be that long. And then right angle is kind of important because of where it has been a while since I've had one of these in my hands. There you go. And I got the black on dark gray colorway, which is the one I used to have as well. This board right here is actually what taught me how to touch type. Before that, I could mostly, but because this board has such bad, like, it's hard to see it, and it would really slow you down to look. That's what really forced me to learn how to touch type, was this board. And since then, I've always loved a 60% board. I think it comes down to, I like laptop keyboards because they're bang in the middle of the monitor, and most of them are like roughly a 60 to 70, maybe 75% keyboard. And I can wrap from keeping my hands in place, like in the middle here, I can touch the entirety of the keyboard. And that's very common to be able to do on a laptop. But here, as an example, let's swap out the, here's the GH60 I built. It actually says docs on it over here. The reason for that is that prior to the GH60 project being a thing, I worked on a project called the docs keyboard, which was also a 60% keyboard. Oops. Death to all humans. Dropping things like always. So I was working on a project called the docs that used the Poker, and this is the original Poker X case. And this is the keyboard I've been using. It is based on my Phantom layout, like the actual physical key layout. If you look, like there's way more switches than you would normally find on your standard keyboard, and that's what this is based off, is my Phantom layout. And the reason why I have the docks is because I had planned to build 2 dockses, but we got it far enough done in the project, and then it looked like the GH60 was going to be, like, we could have finished ours, but there was no point, where we didn't think there was at the time, because the GH60 was going to do what we were going to do and more, so we just contributed to that. So in a way, this is a docs / GH60, because it's got GH60 PCB, but pretty much every other thing in here is what I'd planned to be in my docs. E-grips as the mouse feet. This is before I learned about the clear double-sided stick tape to make it a little bit thicker. And this thing I've been using since I've finished building it, and it's held up really well, and I've had a lot of comments on it. And I did get the keycaps custom printed to match my layout, and that was a long time ago. And where this kind of comes in, and WASD Keyboards did that for me, by the way. If you contact them, they'll be able to do the same for you. Like, say if you decide on a custom layout and you finally decide this is the final one, send them a thing from Illustrator, and they'll be able to print it out onto your keycaps. They can even do color now. But the reason why this is a big thing and why I wanted one of these back in my collection and life is because this layout on the Happy Hacking keyboard is really what inspired this layout and all of my layouts, pretty much. Because in this, it's a 60%. You don't have arrow keys. A lot of people hate that. I love it. I've gotten used to this, and I wouldn't like it. This Happy Hacking keyboard has literally inspired every single one of my layouts from here on out. For example, on the GH60, you might see that the control is moved to where caps lock is. Backspace is where backslash is, and delete is where backspace is. That's where it is, or one of the options where it is on the Happy Hacking keyboard. Now, the arrows on the Happy Hacking keyboard are not your inverted T, which I prefer, which I solved that on here, on the, what was with the Phantom and some other keyboards before that. But yeah, so this Happy Hacking keyboard, as much as it was my it was my second mechanical keyboard I ever owned, and it has really influenced my design of mechanical keyboards that I custom make and the layouts I use on them very, very heavily. And it still is what I believe to be, out of the box, one of the best 60%. Now, one of the things that these always had issues with, I only have feet on the front, like rubber feet on the front of the keyboard. I'm going to have to add my own, because it's just sliding around right now. If you hear this like keycap popping up, that rattle a little bit, that's actually the key, the return. Whereas and that's why there is an S version of this that's very much more expensive, that has a little piece of foam on the inside of the plunger. And I can try and show a breakdown of this key switch, but it's a capacitive rubber dome. So it has more in common with a rubber dome keyboard than it does a mechanical keyboard, but there's a capacitive layer at the bottom, like there would be on a Model M or a Model F. So that's the part that makes it mechanical. Even though it's not like a physical switch, it's that capacitive layer. So it can work without being fully depressed, like fully pressing down the key. It'll still actuate. I'm gonna get this thing hooked up with some E-grips and get it onto my desk. Luckily, remember I was saying I needed the layout. Right on the back here, if you can see that, I don't know if it'll focus, but the layout for the dip switches is there. And there is a very standard one that people go with. The main switch that you're going to want to use is switch 3, because what that does is it fixes the delete thing, where now delete is backspace and delete's up here. I think you have to use function delete, which on my layouts I fixed to where this is just delete, and then this, which is tilde, is function escape. So that's a change I put in, and like a lot of this I'll have to adapt to, and I'm going to be using this for a while just because I just picked it up and I really like the feel of Topre switches. They are, if you don't want to program something, you want something really nice out of the box, Topre switches are like, maybe find your nice Cherry Max, but you really should try a real non-knockoff Topre board. That's part of the reason why I picked this up too, is Squares has never tried this. And it's one of those ones that you kind of always need as a collection. Another buddy of mine, Peyton, which is Preston's older brother / Frozen Slate's older brother, he uses this every day as work. And he was with me when I had these as my main keyboards, and it's a really nice design. The only reason I don't run one is pretty much because I've programmed my own layout, which I feel is better. And that's actually gone out, and other people have used it. But this is still a really nice layout. Switch 4 would swap your left Windows key, which is this one here, or it's a square to be super, for a function key. It's kind of nice when you need to use F keys on this side, right? But otherwise, if you can use just pinky over here, you'll be better off. That's a preference thing, really. Switch 5 swaps these two, because right now this is your Windows key, and that's your Alt key. On a normal Windows keyboard, okay, like not Sun, not Mac OS, this key would be your Windows key, and that key would be your Alt. So it's pretty common, actually. What a lot of people do is they will swap these two and then make this key like the Alt, this, now that it's Alt, it'll change the function. So you still have your Windows, right? So you can do Windows E, Windows D, and then this will be another function key down here. That's pretty common to use both those. Switch 6 is wake up, disable, wake up, enable. So that like it basically enables this to bring your computer in and out of sleep mode. This does require a driver to work in macOS if you want the additional like power functions to work in there. I don't use it that way, so I won't need any of that. And it just really looks like a sleek. What really caught me was the design of this keyboard, like visually originally, and then I looked more into it, and it became my second board because it was something really unique. Okay, I have my red cable from the Yeti Pro that I'll probably need to take at some point, but for now, and the reason why you want a left angle cable for this, not a right angle, because a right angle there is a USB 2.0 hub on the back. Right angle would put you right over those USB ports, and how angles on wires are is the top, which is the bigger part on a mini B and on a micro B. So and that's the top of it. And when looking out of the female port, right, see how it goes left. Hopefully this is making sense, maybe from this angle. But yeah, you'd be looking from the female side, right? And then whatever direction it goes from there, having the top be the wider part, that's what is left or right. So a right angle would actually go this way. Right angle doesn't just mean 90-degree bend, which is what a lot of people think. And in some cases, you specifically, this is a much better use of a left angle. If you don't have a left angle on the Yeti Pro and you want a low profile on the bottom, right angle doesn't fit at all. Oh wow, I totally forgot about this. It has been a long time since I've used Happy Hacking Keyboard. Okay, so this by default is basically in Linux mode or Sun whatever mode. So the Happy Hacking Keyboard mode is not. You have to put it in Mac mode to make it Windows compatible. Doesn't need the driver, but so you want switch 2 on. Back to Aqua Key Test. Watch this. Hey, look, we got Windows now. Woo! I need to put some e-grips on this. I even have e-grips on my wrist, and because right now it's just the whole keyboard is moving around. Oh, that's much better. This wrist rest, by the way, it was custom made, and it's actually made for the Happy Hacking Keyboard. So that's why it's got the nice ebony in there. Looks really nice. But the keyboard slipping, like, because like the chassis is tweaked just a little bit, and I don't know why every Happy Hacking Keyboard I've seen is like this, and everybody thought it was an issue at first, but it must just be the molds or something. You got to add proper feet, especially because there's only feet on the part towards you, as I will show here. There's only rubber feet on the bottom here, not up top, so it just slides around. Well, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed my video of what could be the best mechanical keyboard available, if not the best one of the best keyboards available, period. Many people will say that. I will say it is a very, very good 60% keyboard. However, I don't believe the layout is perfect. Now, this layout didn't heavily inspire all of my layouts, but I personally think I corrected at least what in like how I use a keyboard, which is based more on, say, Windows XP and newer user case of a power user on a desktop. Whereas this keyboard, the guy who designed this, who obviously put a lot of thought into it, and they've made a couple of different versions. It was originally still designed for a Sun terminal, so there's some stuff that does not translate into your modern Windows experience perfectly. But the build quality on this thing is superb. There is zero flex. The key feel is tremendous. If you're used to your Cherry MX, it's definitely going to be something different. It's something you might want to try out if you like a 60% keyboard. And for those people who don't like mechanical keyboards, give this a shot, because you actually might quite like this, because it's closer to it's going to be more similar to a rubber dome than it is different. You know, like a mechanical key switch like a Cherry MX is significantly different from a rubber dome. I think it's in a good way, but some people really, they're too used to the rubber dome and how that works, because that's what they've always used. And this is more similar to a rubber dome than a normal Cherry MX mechanical keyboard is, or something like that. So hopefully you guys liked the video, and we'll see you in the next one. I'm going to get some use in on what is one of my favorite keyboards. And as always, I'm TheProfosist. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. The channel is Tech Exchange Twitter, Instagram as well, and the website is the-tech-exchange.com, and we'll see you in the next one.